This is a PowerPoint on question 2 of the AP seminar exam. My first 3 slides will be going over the 3 main parts of the rubric and sort of analyzing them, while later I'll be explaining how to do or how to be successful on these. This first part of the rubric is analyzing and evaluating the evidence. For this, to get a 6, you want to basically go through the bibliography of both articles, read through their credibility, analyze their credibility more so, and make sure that these articles are proper. And you want to be pointing out any articles that are not valid in your response to these articles. Content area 2 is understanding and analyzing the argument. For this, you should find the thesis, find the supporting facts of the argument in both of these articles, and write about their strengths and weaknesses. Content area 3 is again understanding and analyzing the argument, but this time it is more focused on the implications and limitations of the two arguments and analyzing both of those. So, the overall technique and method of success, these are for all the parts of the rubric. For the first part of the rubric, which is the evidence part, you want to analyze various pieces of evidence, and mainly all of the evidence, going through looking at the credibility, focus on the relevance as well, and you want to also look into the quotes of the articles, or quotes of the people that the articles are citing, looking at their credibility, looking at their maybe sometimes they'll show like accomplishments of that person, making sure they aren't just someone who doesn't know what they're talking about that they're citing. You want to make sure that it's someone who is relevant to their topic. Second part, like I said, was explaining and understanding the argument. You want to make sure that their reasoning is valid. You want to be explaining their validity and explaining if the article is good or not good, or more so valid. You want to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of their arguments, and this is done so by just reading it and analyzing if all the claims are backed up with evidence and how the analysis is written. Third part, you want to identify and provide a reasonable analysis of the implications. This is very similar, but this is very similar to the previous part, but this is done by finding the author's possible effects of their main idea. So, helpful tips for this exam. You don't want to skip questions. You always want to write something down. The reason this is because if you do not, you will get a NR, or a no response. And when the scorer gives you this, that means that you will get 0 points for that answer, as opposed to getting a 2, which is obviously better. You want to write something that is slightly relevant if you have no time or if you don't know, so you at least don't leave it blank, and so you don't get a 0. Another one is you want to make sure your answers are on topic. You want to make sure that it's somewhat relevant. If you don't know what you're talking about, make sure it somehow references the article, so you don't get a 0, which is, again, worse than a 2, obviously. Again, you want to make sure you're focusing on the specific argument and not getting sidetracked with other points that the author makes. You want to basically look at their thesis. Like I said, that's a good way to get their main argument and analyze it from there. More helpful tips. A good way to prepare for this test is to attempt tests of the previous years. In the next slide, I linked a article or a previous test which you can type in and you can try it out and see how you do. It also has the rubric, so you can see how you scored on it. That'll help you prepare for the test. Another tip is to make an outline, and not of your essay more so, but more of the articles that you're analyzing. You want to write down maybe their thesis, their main points, so you can write about their validity in your response. And then obvious things, eating healthy, getting sleep, that'll obviously give you more focus on the day of the test. So these are two links. The first one gives you example exam questions and example or questions of previous years, and you can try these out, see how you do. This is a good way of preparing because it's actual previous questions. The second link is a response to questions of previous years. This can help you basically see what is good and what's not good, and what can get you a 6 and what can get you a 2. And that is it.